There's a story about this young man who started working with this amazing, incredible old sage. And his first task was to go out there in the middle of the night and push this giant rock, this crater, every single day. And so the young man was so excited. He finally got to work with this guy. And he went out there every morning and he started pushing and pushing. And he was all excited that he's going to achieve this amazing goal. Look how great he is. And he's going to show the sensei that he can do anything. And then maybe one day he will be the sensei. He will be that warrior, that mentor, that leader. And every day he went out there and he pushed that rock and he pushed it and he pushed it and he pushed it. Weeks went by and he started getting very frustrated because the rock was not moving. And he started getting upset and aggravated. And he couldn't understand why. Eventually, the sensei, the old man, saw his frustration and approached him. And he said to him, "What is the matter?" He says, "Well, you have me doing this stupid job, pushing and pushing this rock, and it's not moving. What am I doing here? Every day I've learned nothing." The old man says to this young student, I never said the rock was going to move. I never said that. I just told you to push the rock." He says, "What?" He says, "You're the one who assumed that you wanted the rock to move. I never said anything about that. Look how strong your arms have become. Look how strong your forearms have become. Look how disciplined you have become, getting up early in the morning and going out there in the cold and pushing this rock." See, our thoughts are what confuse us at times to make us think that the efforts that we're putting into something, the end goal is something that we perceive it to be as it is. Meaning, we could be pushing ourselves every single day to achieve one goal at hand, expecting the results that we want to happen. And it just feels like our efforts are being unreceived over and over and over again. But why? You see, I believe that energy and effort is never wasted. It's just not possible that the amount of effort we put into one area of in our lives cannot affect other areas of our lives. Even that one area that we are putting our energy and effort into. Sometimes things take longer than they seem to or need to. And sometimes things happen in our favor by not happening right away. Like that story where a guy wishes that he had an elephant. All of a sudden there's an elephant there. I think it was in the movie The Secret. Now he's got to clean up all that mess, right? It's not such a great wish or desire to have. If we got things instantly, it would be a problem. We have to work for things. We have to earn our way to receive that gratification, that happiness that we're after by achieving a goal at hand. The question is our happiness based on achieving that goal at hand? And that's what we're here to talk about today, is the fact that our happiness has to be generated from internally generated. Sometimes within myself, there's a civil war going on. Doubts and uncertainty and worry and stress. And that's human. That's normal. We're allowed to feel those things. I say this many times. It's important for us to feel what is real, not to resist it, not to push it away, not to push those desires away, but to work with them. You see, if we're dealing with anxiety, for example, we can either fight it, resist it, push it away, panic more, or we can love it and work with it as if it's a friend. Imagine that. Imagine you have a pain or a worry, but it is a part of you. So if you wouldn't yell at your hand if you banged it, so why would you yell at your anxiety or your worry or your stress? You see, there is a master plan built out for each and every one of us. Whether we believe that or we don't believe that, at the end of the day, we're all heading in the same direction, to the grave. Until technology decides to try other things, there is a reason for us being here in this world. And whether our efforts feel that they are being unreceived and we are pushing and pushing to make something happen, sometimes it's time for us to let go and take a step back in order to become an observer of the whole situation and to let that light in, so to speak. You see, the law of attraction talks about attracting what it is that you want, becoming what it is that you want, feeling what it is that you want in order for you to bring it into your life. That's all great. It's great. Great teachings. And it works. It works to an extent. See, I believe that we have to make a pact with the universe, an agreement of what it is that we have to give in order to receive something back. This is why sharing and charity is so important when it's difficult, not when it's easy. Giving gifts and all that. Sometimes it's harder for us to give. When it's harder for us to give, sometimes that's when the miracles happen. When we do things that are outside of our comfort zone for somebody else. When it comes to the law of attraction or the teachings of Think and Grow Rich, I believe that there needs to be an aspect of an agreement between the universe and God and you, so to speak, that you're in return for the miracles and the blessings that you're going to receive, you will focus on this. For example, slander or not talking about people behind their back, or you're going to do your best to work on your diet more, not indulge. You're going to be more patient. You're going to work on that. You're going to help somebody out once a week, whatever it is, something good. I believe that aspect is needed for us to start to receiving what it is that we think that we want before we can get to the part where we look back and realize why we had to go through what we went through in order to get to where we are today. Even in the Bible, it says, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be opened to you. That connection, that desire to connect to that higher power is within us. And whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, what's not important is whatever it is that you connect to, you tap into that energy. And at the end of the day, there is a source of life within us that will help us to get through whatever it is that we're meant to get through, no matter how hard or how difficult it is. And that source, that energy, that force within us is so powerful that allows us and keeps us here in this world to stay, to give us purpose, to give us energy, to keep going. Every single morning when I wake up in the morning is like, I'm still here, therefore I have something to do in this world, no matter how bad or how much suffering I'm going through. You see, the story about the man pushing the rock, he assumed that the rock needed to move. Meanwhile, he just needed to push that rock. And maybe we just need to push through the troubles or the circumstances, challenges that we're going through at this very moment. You see, that feeling, that emotion, that pain of our efforts not being received, if we can switch that in our minds and even create a mantra, my efforts are now being received. It's just not exactly how I imagine them to, but maybe something better. You see, I may want something so badly to happen, but I would also trust in the universe and the bigger picture and God, or anything, any energy, that there is something greater in store for me as well that I may not see at this present moment. But it's very important that we control our thoughts on the way, and to pay attention. So there are 3 tips that I'm going to leave you with right now when it comes to especially dealing with anxiety or worrying that maybe we're not heading in the right direction at all because our efforts are not being received. The first thing is to calm yourself down, to breathe, to meditate, to think of those things, but also to imagine the greatest possible outcome at all times. See, when we're after a goal, we are after that feeling of fulfillment that we're after. And that is something that we want to start to generate on our own, to be happy before we receive that result. And when we're happy before we receive a result, it helps us to be calm. And when we are calm, we attract things that are meant for us to happen in our lives that we didn't even notice, or things happen, the most miraculous things happen spontaneously. And that's what I love about that. See, miracles also happen spontaneously, but there's no size. There's no size to what a miracle should or shouldn't be. We are just perceiving how we perceive a miracle to be beyond what we expected, but it doesn't have to be that way. A miracle is a miracle, no matter how small or how big, and you are that miracle. You are that miracle that needs to be here in this world, and that is something that I will stand for every single day until my last breath, that each and every one of us has a purpose to be here in this world. And there is no question whatsoever that there is a reason for you being here, and I need you to know that. Whoever is watching this right now and whoever needs to hear this, know that there's a reason for you being here, and I need you to know that it's important for you to stay, to do everything you can every day to find that purpose. And when we're feeling anxious or having anxiety or depression or going through something hard, yes, we're human, and feel that. And I want you to feel that, because we can't just mask what we're feeling. We can't hide behind the pain. And yeah, on the outside, some people may seem happy and joyous, and on social media, it may look amazing and they're having the time of their life. But are they really? You see, what's really going on inside, internally? Sometimes there's a civil war going on within my body, within my mind, my soul. We need to take that time to love, to work with that anxiety, to work with that pain and not resist it. And that is something that is very helpful to me. To know that when the anxiety starts up, okay, what do I do now? What do I do now? What does my body need right now? How can I help? What does my body need? As if you're a little child asking for help. That was the second thing. The third thing is about feeling good again and focusing on what it is that you want, but more so the feeling of what it is that you want. Focusing more on not so much the end result of what it is that you think should happen, but more the end result of what is meant to happen in your life in order to get you to that real joy and fulfillment and purpose of what it is that you're meant to do in this world. We can push so hard to accomplish something in our lives, but at the end of the day, there is a reason for us that we're going through what we're going through. And one day we will look back and realize why we had to go through that challenge, that sacrifice, that pain, in order to get to where we are today. And it ain't easy. It ain't easy. Trust me when I say that. There are so many things in my life that I wish would happen already. But I got to be okay with them not happening as well. And that, my friends, is probably one of the hardest things ever. But when we do get to that point in our lives, we become free. Because there's a trust and there's a certainty that something better may happen. Or maybe there is just a bigger reason that maybe we'll find out one day why it didn't happen that way. For example, I would love for my fingers to grow back so I can do things again, play Nintendo or something. But then again, what if they don't? Am I going to beat myself up and be depressed about it? Or am I going to be okay with what I can do with my hands? See, that's the question we need to always ask ourselves, is how do we get to that point where we are okay and good with both scenarios? And how can we ignite that feeling of happiness, that joy, that fulfillment without having to accomplish or receive that goal at hand? We can push that rock all we like, but sometimes the rock is just never going to move. And sometimes it's just making us strong enough so we can lift somebody else up maybe, or bring joy and happiness to another person's life. save another person's life. And it's probably one of the biggest fulfilling purposes you can ever imagine. Anyways, if you found this helpful in any such way, please like, share, comment, and be sure to subscribe for more videos like this.